Hello and welcome back to Matt Get the Movies. Today I'm going to be reviewing for you the film Evil Dead Rise. This film was released April 21st, 2023 by New Line Cinemas and directed by Lee Cronin, who had also directed the film The Hole in the Ground. This film stars Alyssa Sutherland as Ellie, Lily Sullivan as Beth, Morgan Davies as Danny, Nell Fisher as Cassie, and Gabrielle Eccles as Bridget. Danny is the brother, Cassie's the youngest sister, and Bridget's the. I don't know who's older. I think Bridget's younger than Danny. I think Danny's the oldest. Beth is their aunt, and Ellie is the mother, if I got all of that correct. So when I was looking back at IMDb, there were a couple of faces I was trying to make sure I paired them just right, but I think I got all those right. But essentially, this film starts out, and mind you, spoilers, lots of spoilers. I'm going to talk about this film. Yeah, film starts out at the very end, basically. Kind of an over the top beginning, and in my opinion, for those who have seen the film, I don't know, I think it was a little unnecessary. I think the film should have just started out as a film, sort of, like scrolling through the life of the characters, introducing those characters along the way, instead of they basically started the film out with things are happening. So I think they could have done without a lot of that, which in my opinion would have helped the movie and created a sequel for the future. There could have been an Evil Dead Rise 2 or an Evil Dead Rises or something, anything. But instead, they showed us exactly what happens, to which I guess could be continued, but it just kind of seems like, that's where we're at. That's what happens. I mean, evil reigns supreme. But essentially, once we get into the film, past the cabin in the woods vibe and the lake that they're at, everything like that, we get to the apartment, which in the previews, that's what you follow. That's the storyline. The main storyline is this family in an apartment. So we finally get to that. We start introducing characters. We get some a little bit of a backstory on another character, the character of Beth, the aunt, Ellie's sister. She is a guitar tech for a band. She's like going in to become a lead guitar tech, and she had some things happen along the way, and she's going to go visit her sister, try and get some advice on what to do. But this is, while she's there, while she's visiting the family, an earthquake happens while some kids were told to go pick up some pizza, and when they come back, they notice that there's like this hole in the ground, and Danny gets far too curious and decides to go inspect the hole. If that were me, I mean, I think I'm a fairly curious person, but I'm not going to inspect a hole in the ground because with my luck, I'm going to fall through to my death. And so I'm just going to let the professionals kind of deal with that and then try and get back and find my mom and my aunt and all get together again. Instead, he goes down in the hole, finds this old bank vault where the apartments that they're living in was built on this old bank. And he finds the Book of the Dead in this sort of lockbox, and he finds some records and some photos and things like that. Some like records that were like straight to acetate type records. That's what I kind of got from it. There were 4 records, I think it was, and so he takes them all up to the apartment. He shows his sister after they rekindle with the family. They go back to his room, and the sister's like, you should not have this. And for a second here, let's talk about the Book of the Dead in this movie. If you've seen the movie, and I'm sure you've seen the other movie, I can't remember which Harry Potter movie it is in, but the Book of the Dead, in my opinion, just looked like a skin-covered book sort of version of the... it was like the Harry Potter book about the magical creatures where you had to rub the spine and it had like fangs on the book. Like, that's what the Book of the Dead in this one looked like. Instead of just being a book covered in skin like all the other books that you see in the films, this one has these like clasping fangs at the book. So, like, where the book would close right here, it's like these two clasping fangs. I'm sure you got that without me having to show you, but he opens it, he pricks his finger, blood goes down onto the book, sucks into the book, gets absorbed into the book, whatever. And but they end up opening the book, look through it, and there's a bunch of gruesome stuff in the book. His sister's like, his sister Bridget's like, you should put that away. For the love of God, get rid of it. We don't need it. That's evil. And so he goes, okay, I'll do that. And then he picks up these records. Danny has turntables in his room, like DJ turntables. And he puts the records on there and starts playing them. That's when evil gets talked about, and then the incantation gets spoken, and evil begins. So, first off, I thought it was a little bit odd that all this was on record, and like acetate records. Like, I think those are very fragile, if I understand correctly. So I don't know why it wasn't on a sort of medium that, like a more popular recorded medium than record. So I think records have surpassed CDs this past year in sales for the first time since like the 80s or something. So, I'm sure they put it in there because it's something kids know. You're not going to pull out a cassette tape. Most kids probably don't know what a cassette tape is. So if somebody's watching this movie, they're going to be like, oh, a cassette tape. Where are you going to find a cassette player to play that? Everyone has record players now. So I guess I kind of get that, but it just seems like an odd medium to record on. So, but yeah, they release the evil, and that's the story pretty much. I thought it was interesting with how they tried to fight the evil in the end, and how the evil sort of combined like this weird. It was almost like in The Thing, like one of the creatures from The Thing. It's like all the evil dead people, like the mom, the brother, the sister, like they all like morphed together into this weird thing, and would chase after them. But they end up going to the wood chipper, oddly enough, in the basement of this apartment building, and they just get splattered everywhere. It was a lot of fun. I feel like the movie progressed as it went. It got better and better as the movie went on. Again, I didn't like the beginning. I thought the intro to the movie was pointless. I feel like we could have gotten that in a sequel. Because you see that character at the end of the movie, again, doing something stupid. Instead of just getting in her car and going, she notices something and decides to get out and have a look. But she gets out, has a look, and that's when the evil gets sprung on her, and then she takes it to the beginning of the movie, where they're at the camp. I I didn't think this movie was all that impressive. I enjoyed it for what it was. Do I think I'm going to run out and buy it when it comes out? No. I will wait for it to go on some sort of sale, like a Black Friday sale or something. If I do pick it up, I'll pick it up then. I do think I would rewatch it, but it's not something I'm going to be like running out to immediately revisit. I again thought it was good. I have to give it just 3 stars out of 5. And when I try to rate these movies, I try to rate each individual film for what it is. And I think this being a big budget film, released by New Line Cinemas, distributed by Warner Brothers, it's got a lot of money and stuff like that behind it. So, especially with a lot of horror films doing a little better in recent years. I think they're pushing a little bit more money into it, especially being an Evil Dead film. But I do think that, again, we could have started the story just introducing the family in the apartment, things happening, and then we could have ended the film with the girl getting possessed by the thing, and then it just leaves it open to where's it going to go? What's going to happen next? Well, you watch the beginning of the movie and you know what's going to happen next. I feel like they did more harm than good in promoting another sequel or something like that with this. I don't know where they're going to go beyond it. At the beginning, there was the scene, again, where they're at the camp and, like, the dock. There's a dock, and this girl gets her scalp ripped off, and this boy freaks out, jumps in the water. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe he jumps in the water after the girl, and or after the possessed girl, and ends up getting his head ripped off and thrown up on the dock. That much I remember. But it looks so fake. It's just this dummy head. None of it looked good. So, like, I don't know. There's a lot about the film that just seemed lacking. And one of the things that upset me the most in the film was, all the power's out. Nobody knows what to do. They're trying to find out what's left on the records to see what they can do to battle this evil. And the aunt is like, don't worry, I got this. I'm a guitar tech. Now, I don't want to insult any guitar techs out there, but she ended up creating this, like, I don't know, weird power station with batteries, linking batteries to batteries, busting out soldering iron, and just doing all this with relative speed. And it got the turntable set up all operational, like if you had plugged it into the wall. Yeah, I don't know. Again, 3 out of 5. I say check it out, but don't get your hopes up. If you have seen this movie, what did you think? Was any of this something that you noticed, or did you just flat out love the movie? Jot that down in the comments below. Let me know what you thought. And as always, thank you for stopping by. And I will see you next time. Bye.